Welcome everyone who's here watching this video. My name is Shemin, and I'm going to be doing your reading today. So this is going to be a collective reading rather than a pick a card, so I trust whoever this video finds, this is something you need to hear. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say all the cards and their positions out loud first, helps me get a more complete picture of everything, and then I'm going to dive into it. So, for the situation as a whole, you have the Ace of Wands and the Knight of Swords. For the first clarifying side over here, you have the Five of Cups and the Magician in reverse. For the other clarifying side, there's the Hanged Man in reverse and the Hierophant in reverse. So very interesting, you have three Major Arcana all in this main line here, all of them being in reverse too. For the main kind of like general nature of this situation and kind of like what's at the core of it, there is the Page of Cups upright with the Two of Pentacles in reverse. And then at the bottom here, this is the lesson or reason behind why this is the spread being shown to you today and not any of the thousands upon thousands of other spreads that can show up with tarot. And that is the Ten of Cups in reverse with the Three of Wands in reverse. So I think it's no coincidence that these bottom cards here are in reverse and all of these Major Arcanas are in reverse too. Card on the bottom of the deck, which is kind of like an underlying energy that's like present but not an active participant in this kind of situation, is the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So all right, let's get started. So for the situation as a whole, being the Ace of Wands with the Knight of Swords, so kind of the thing that this reading is going to be about is definitely something that's got a lot of motion to it. So it's like both the Ace and the Knights are very active cards. The Ace of Wands is like this beginning of something that you're very passionate about. It's like a fresh new start, and it's like this thing that excites you. The Knight of Swords is a fast-moving card. It's kind of like this... It's like this thing that I think you will be starting is something that's not entirely brand new to you, but it's something that you have been like working and gathering and like, you know, just like gaining a little bit of energy and momentum for. And this is finally the time when it's like you're ready to go ahead and move forward with it. So for some people, this could be like a passion project that they're finally going through with. For other people, this could be kind of like, you know, a new job or like, you know, a new hobby or anything like that, that it's like this thing that you've really wanted to do for a long time, that now is finally the time for you to go ahead and start. So if this is somebody who has already started, this will be continuing advice. If these are people, or if there is someone watching out there who hasn't started this thing yet, this is definitely your sign to go ahead and start that thing. So for the first clarifying pile over here, we have the Five of Cups with the Magician in reverse. And so this is kind of explaining why you haven't started this either currently or in the past. So for the first one here, there's the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is kind of about disappointment. And specifically with the Five of Cups, it's a little bit of kind of like choosing what to focus on. So with the Five of Cups, there are 5 cups here in the picture. 2 of them are upright and there are 2 overturned in front of him. This man here is choosing to lament the kind of 3 cups overturned in front of him rather than focusing on the things that he does have. And so I think for you guys specifically, that's kind of a very perfect metaphor for what you've had going on. You know, with most things that we decide to go ahead and start, we usually don't have 100% of the tools and things at our disposal. That was my cat back there. Leave a comment if you heard my cat meowing. And so I think you guys have been kind of like holding off on starting because you kind of like feared maybe not possibly being enough or not having all the tools kind of necessary for starting this thing. And so because of all this fear, this kind of like lack and fear mentality, you actually failed to notice that you already had everything that you needed to move forward with this thing. And I think kind of too, there's a little bit of that like, you know, fear of failure, fear of disappointment. You don't want to start this thing that you've been really excited for and have it kind of not work out for you. So it made it very easy to focus on these 3 cups here rather than these 2 back here. So, you know, Spirit and your higher selves are not blaming you for this, but they do want to recognize and call to your attention that you do have everything that you need to start. And kind of this like fear of possibly not being good enough is kind of like a thing of your own making. You wouldn't be drawn to this thing. It wouldn't keep consistently popping up for you if this wasn't a thing that you were ultimately meant to do. The Magician card being next to it kind of emphasizes that, and again, this is specifically the first of those major arcanas in reverse that's showing up here. And with this being with the Five of Cups, that's why I said this is the reason specifically why you haven't been starting on this yet. So next side over here, we have the Hanged Man in reverse with the Hierophant in reverse. So again, very interesting with all those major arcanas in reverse here. Hanged Man in reverse is kind of saying that it's like your time of pause, your time of isolation, you kind of postponing starting this thing is definitely coming to an end. Hanged Man, when it's upright, is all about kind of like flipping. It's like changing your perspective ever so slightly in order to kind of see things from a different perspective in order to gain some insight or clarity into a situation. It also kind of signifies this like time of pause in order to like, you know, instead of acting and moving forward, you have to kind of take this time to gather everything inside of you. And so with it being in reverse, it is saying that that time is coming to an end for you. The Hierophant in reverse, one of the reasons I think also contributing to why there was this pause here, again, also very interesting that both of these are fives. Hierophant is the fifth major arcana, Five of Cups over here. So five, so there may be a little bit of a fear of change as well because the number 5 deals with change. But specifically the Hierophant being in reverse, one of the things that I have like found out about the Hierophant card as I kind of deep dived into a like major arcana study, posted it on my TikTok, repping that if you want it. I'm not very active on there anymore. May post ASMR shuffling videos, who knows. But go ahead and check those out if you want to. I think all the videos are great. Specifically the Hierophant card is about kind of like this key piece of information being given to you. Usually this is from a kind of like more divine source. So this is kind of one of those like aha moments. But that's also why it's like traditionally a pope or a priest or something. So I think one of the reasons why you haven't necessarily started this is you haven't gotten one of those little key pieces of information. And because this is a major arcana, this kind of deals with some subtly more esoteric themes rather than just kind of like, you know, things that we can necessarily put into words. It deals with the higher vibrational things. You know, the Hierophant doesn't always have to be like information per se. Sometimes it can be these kind of just like subtle key understandings that we like use and then take with us as we go through our life that kind of just allow us to maneuver with a little bit greater ease. We kind of see things from these different perspectives, especially being with the Hanged Man here, because of this just understanding or realization or just kind of like culmination of experiences that we've had that have made us see the world specifically different in this way. And so ultimately here at the core of this situation, you have the Page of Cups with the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So Page of Cups specifically is about like, you know, bearing yourself. It's like being so willing to be vulnerable that you can just kind of put it out there in the open for everyone. Specifically when this comes up in like relationship readings, it's like you finally confessing to the person that you like or kind of sharing your feelings, voicing that, vocalizing that. And like, I just think that's such a beautiful card. And so I think, you know, specifically this thing that you are going to be starting is something that you hold very near and dear to you. And that may also be another reason why you've been kind of like, almost like hiding and protecting this thing, is because it is so close to you that it's like, especially when we put things out into the world, you know, we have definitely seen how kind of harsh and critical certain people can like be of specific things. And so because we care about this thing and ultimately this like aspect of ourselves so much, we don't want to hurt that. We don't, you know, it's just like a little kid. It's like, you don't want them to be bullied. You know, you want to protect them at all costs. You want them to have a very nice sense of like self-worth and things. And I think your fears have been kind of trying to do that for you, where it's like they've been trying to protect you and keep you safe. But ultimately, you know, I think with this thing that you are going to be starting, it's something that you kind of like can't keep to yourself. It's like, it makes you so excited and so happy that it's like, you know, if you put it out there, that it would make other people just as excited and happy as you are. And this doesn't have to be like an ego thing. I think specifically for some of the people who are watching this, this comes from a place of like pure love for the thing that you would be doing. So other clarifying card here is the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So the Two of Pentacles, I think this will kind of speak for all the other reversals that we've had here in this spread. So it's kind of like uprights and then reversals. So we'll be talking about these as well. But specifically, it's the Two of Pentacles. So one of the reasons why you've had difficulties with this is you've had difficulties kind of balancing certain aspects of your life. And so whether this be your kind of like work-life balance, or if you have kind of extenuating circumstances going on around you, you know, your environment, you know, relationship issues. You know, for me personally, my fiance just moved in, and so that's kind of like, you know, been yay, super exciting. But also there's been a lot of change that goes along with that, and kind of like rearranging the house, you know, and just kind of like creating space for him. So for a lot of you guys, it doesn't always necessarily have to be something bad. It could be that you've had something really good come into your life, and that's been a thing that, you know, you just need to sit and focus on for a bit, because it's really important to kind of like cherish all those happy moments and those memories that you have, because you're only going to live and experience that moment once. So you may as well just kind of take it in for while you've got it. So with that, there is just a little bit of a lack of balance that's been going on, but I think especially with these kind of like, you know, this Hierophant energy of kind of that subtle perspective shift, yeah, or I guess this combined energy here, I feel like that is ultimately going to be the thing that allows you to kind of like restore balance to this kind of maybe slightly chaotic, maybe slightly stagnant, depends on who's watching this, you know, this energy that you've been kind of going through that has felt a little bit restrictive. I think you are definitely coming out on the other side of that for sure. And last but not least, I guess bottom of the deck, so I'm going to do all of these. So last but not least, we've got the like ultimate reason for why this is a spread that's showing up for you today. So you've got the 10 of Cups reverse, the 3 of Wands in reverse, and the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So for the 10 of Cups here, you know, we have a 10 page and a knight. That is basically like a 6, 7, 8 in the string of numerology and stuff for this, so that's kind of cool. I definitely think this is forward progression, so even these delays that you've had going on here have ultimately been to kind of help set you up for success in this thing moving forward. Because you haven't had this thing for a long time, it's like you haven't been able to kind of cherish in the satisfaction of having built this thing for yourself and put it out, like birth it, so to speak, and put it out into the world. Because you've had to kind of hold back on that for so long, it's built up this excitement. It's kind of allowed time for this thing to like nurture within you in order for it to be just a little bit more fully developed moving forward. Or again, for the people who haven't gone through this, you know, Hierophant, Hanged Man in reverse energy shift yet, I feel like that is also a reason why you are currently stagnating through this thing, is because you haven't had that aha shift moment. You don't necessarily have some of the exact clues that you need on how you are specifically supposed to do this. And so because of that, that's still got to germinate, that's still got to kind of like build up a little bit inside of you before that kind of aha moment can happen. Again, the outer world reflects the inner world and vice versa. So once you have that kind of internal shift happen, that's when the external shifts are going to start happening, and then everything will move forward from then. 3 of Wands in reverse kind of goes along with that. So the 3 of Wands upright is all about planning. With it being in reverse, it's saying that there's kind of like a lack of planning, or because you don't necessarily know exactly how things are going to go down, you know, you can't plan for this. And so because you can't plan for it, you know, you just kind of have to start running with it and let it go where it takes you. And I think that's going to be a little bit more exciting for you, because rather than being able to plan it, or rather than having to plan everything, I think also too, sometimes when we set up plans for ourselves, that kind of leads to a lot of expectation. So it's like, oh man, I have to be doing this, and then I have to be doing this, and it's like you want to stick to such a like rigid schedule to it. That's a lot of like yang energy, that kind of like divine masculine energy that you'll hear people talk about. So if you have a little bit of that yin, a little bit of that receptive, just kind of like seeing where it's coming from, or kind of like seeing where it's taking you, and just kind of let your own internal like excitement for this thing, or kind of just like passion for what it is that you're doing, lead you to the new places that you're supposed to be. It's going to be a little bit like following a, like, you know, the rabbit down the rabbit hole, like, you know, to Alice in Wonderland. You just kind of have to see where this thing will take you, and I think it's going to be very magical and exciting for you when you get there. So other card here is the Page of Pentacles in reverse. This to me kind of mirrors that 3 of Wands energy, which is that kind of like not being able to necessarily start until kind of all of these things have settled down for you. So that is what I have for you, beautiful souls. This is my like first collective reading that I think I'm posting to here. So I don't know, I'm just like really excited for this. I think this is gonna be kind of just like awesome to do for me personally. I don't know, and I'm just like really excited. If you stuck around to the end, go ahead and leave me a like and a comment. Like, I don't know, I would just love to hear from you guys. So yeah, there you go. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and be well. Bye.